Hello and welcome to everybody tuning in today. I'm Billy Mitchell, editor-in-chief of FedScoop, and today I'm joined by Jeff Edlin, the CTO of the Communications Technology Group at Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's sunny, but a little bit cool here in the Midwest. How about yourself?
It's rainy and not so nice out, but we'll take it. It's fine. Spring is here, and we'll have warmer weather ahead of us, so good things to look forward to. Jeff, thanks so much for joining me in conjunction with the HPE Public Sector Summit. We're talking about some of the trends that are kind of running through it thematically this year's summit, and wanted to expand upon those with you today. So let's just jump into it. The first question I have is on digital transformation, and really, want to hear from you how the federal government has made progress in recent months and years on its goals for digital transformation.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I would have a couple of answers for that. So, first would be, the progress that I've seen out of the government generally lags the most innovative and aggressive commercial companies. And so, it's been slow. And I think that really what the government needs is to come to grips with kind of the reality that digital transformation isn't just a silo or stovepipe approach to problems that you have, whether they're integrated operations, it's core compute, it's field operations, that really you need to now take on a hybrid approach that looks at everything that's going on, whether it's happening at the edge, it's happening with your devices, it's happening with your core IT. And that really we're going to not be working in these siloed clouds any longer. We're going to end up having to do our transformation in a hybrid format, both in cloud, both in our internal operations, both at the edge and at the core.
I'm glad you mentioned the edge because that's where I wanted to take the conversation next. There's plenty of agencies with those missions that happen at the edge, and it's important to be able to sort of do that compute and whatnot at the edge. So I'd be interested to hear, for those agencies, how has new emerging technologies and things like that been able to improve their success, like cloud at the edge?
Yeah, that's another good question. So the first thing that I would say in regards to emerging tech, cloud has really been with us for about 10 years. I think what really is new is the application of cloud technology to the edge. And really, what this allows is for disconnected operations to occur regardless of the state of your core IT functions or the public cloud. So if you can push that cloud technology, your communications technology, your network technology, all the way out to the edge, you can start to assure an always connected experience and always connected operations. And an example I like to use is the lessons that we've learned from autonomous driving. So, a vehicle if it's an autonomous vehicle, needs to maintain operations regardless of network connection or the ability to talk back to systems in the core. You need to have intelligence that's riding right there at the edge, and the car being the edge in this particular point, in order to continue those operations. And so that's some of the emerging tech that I see with cloud and applications and services getting driven all the way to the edge, enabling a disconnected or always connected experience.
So I'd be interested to inject another buzzword into our conversation, zero trust. As you expand the network architecture, things are done at the edge now. The traditional kind of boundaries are no longer there. So what role does zero trust play in sort of securing agencies' modern tech architectures as, things happen at the edge and elsewhere that it isn't necessarily on premise like they used to be?
Yeah, I think from a perspective of securing your architecture, it is the most important buzzword. And like everything else, they've started to turn them into two acronyms. So Zero Trust Architecture, ZTA, and Zero Trust Network Architecture, ZTNA. I think the biggest takeaway and the lesson here is for all sectors of federal government to understand and realize there's no longer any such thing as a secure perimeter. What you need to think about is that you no longer have a perimeter, you have a mutualized service cloud. And what is really important is that you implement zero trust between everything. So your devices aren't trusted, services and applications aren't trusted, and what you need is the combination of an identity, a known health or integrity of the device, regardless of its location, and then the ability to do user authentication against that healthy device and the service that they want to do in order to bring everybody together and then allow some sort of an operation to happen. So no more perimeters, zero trust on everything.
So let's close out again with emerging technologies. We sort of talked about, cloud and how it's not really an emerging technology, but maybe the application at the edges. But, let's expand that a little bit. And what are some of the emerging technologies outside of that are going to have the biggest impact on the government of tomorrow?
Yeah, so the places that I think that the government should really be paying big attention to is 5G, which is a today thing, but even thinking beyond 5G. So what's 6G going to look like, and how are we going to effectively lead in 6G? Also, the inclusion of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So moving beyond just having smart people that can train a classifier to do something, but getting the machine to actually teach the machine how to do something new and to come up with new insights. Then there's this whole emerging space called SASE, SASE, Secure Access Service Edge. I think that the government would be well suited to have an opinion, and also I would advise them to get an opinion and be involved in SASE from the start. And then the last two things I think can be applied to the ones that I just talked about. Hyper automation, so getting as many people's fingers off of keyboards as possible and automating processes and automating the remediation of problems. And then the final thing is quantum computing. I know it's kind of buzzwordy right at the moment, but it is going to be significant in the future. And the ability to quantumly entangle a problem and solve extremely large problems in a quantum operation versus serializing the problem is going to provide huge advantages for those that can utilize quantum computing in the future.
That's great. Well, Jeff, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for your time today. It was a pleasure chatting, and I hope we get to do it again here soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you.